All right. At this time, I'm going to ask Mike Lawrence, our Elder Board Chairman, to come, and he has an announcement to make.
Welcome. I am Mike Lawrence. As many of you know, I was diagnosed with metastatic ocular melanoma. It showed up in my left thigh in November. We've been treating it with a very aggressive immunologic program, and the goal was to get my body to respond, and I can tell you it has responded quite well. The problem is it's too responsive. So when we went in for the last of the infusions, she walked in and goes, we were done. We're done. So we're in recovery phase of trying to get my body to stop responding. I've had 5 organ systems that are damaged, and we're trying to see if we can get that recovered. We're continuing to inject the tumor with a TVAC to try to get an immune response out of it. If it's still there by the end of May, we're going to cut it out. So, process. I was encouraged by one of the elders to give you my caringbridge.org. There's no HIPAA violation with me. If you go to the site, my first recommendation is go immediately to the upper right where it says follow-up. If you set that up, you don't have to check the site. It will tell you when Paul and I put a journal update. So if you'd like to continue to pray with us, we really appreciate it. And Paul and I really want to thank you for your prayers. We have deeply felt them. And Revelation says that the prayers of the saints are the incense before God. And we know that the Lord has been having a great incense of prayer on our behalf, and we can't thank you enough. 3 things that the elders want to communicate clearly to you this morning. Number 1, a constitutional change. Number 2, the process by which we will select a new senior pastor. And 3, elder selection. First one, constitutional change. Now listen, this is going to be very long and technical. Stick with me. But I think it's important that you guys understand what's about to happen. So, the Board of Elders shall periodically review this Constitution and recommend amendments to the Constitution in written form 2 weeks prior to a congregational meeting. 2 opportunities have come to us. When the Supreme Court redefined marriage, the Christian Lawyers Association immediately started letting churches know that they should make some constitutional changes. So we've been in process with the pastoral staff in trying to understand what we should and shouldn't do. And we have decided, along with a number of evangelical churches, to add a constitutional amendment. So that is there before us. The second thing is an opportunity came to us with the package of our pastoral search consultant. One of the things that they do is to take our Constitution and hand it to one of their experts. And they came back with a whole bunch of line item little things, none of which their recommendation, none of this you have to do. But there were a lot of words and phrases that needed clarification, and then the elders started digging in and came up with a few of their own. So, we are announcing a congregational meeting on Sunday, April 10th at 4 p.m. to vote on the constitutional changes. The Sunday before at the all-church picnic at 3, when that's supposed to be done, if you're interested in talking with the elders about those changes, please come. There will be a meeting available. Also, if you go to our website, it's a little deep. I went yesterday, but if you will bring it up to one of the main things that you can see, it'll say congregational meeting for April 10th. When you click on that, the constitutional changes will be there. They're also, I just picked one up, the constitutional changes are at the Welcome Center. So please, if you're interested, please go out there and pick one up on the way out. Okay, number 2, the process by which we are going to select a new senior pastor. I want you to understand, my wife read this and said, I got confused. We are not making any constitutional changes to this selection process. All I'm doing is informing you of the process. So, the elders, the Board of Elders shall act as the pulpit or pastoral search committee. It may delegate portions of the pastoral search process to a subcommittee of the Board of Elders, but may not delegate the decision as to which pastoral candidate is to be presented to the congregation for consideration. So, as most of you know, the elders selected 8 members in leadership of our congregation, 4 men, 4 women, who have been our pastoral search subcommittee. And one of them is an elder, but he was not involved in the last pastoral search process. If you want to know about them, it's on our website. Click on pastoral search, and all their bios are right there for you. When the Board of Elders agrees by consensus that the candidate meets the qualifications, it shall present the candidate for a vote of the congregation at a congregational meeting. So, what will happen? When the pastoral search team believes that they have found the man, they will present him to the elder board, and we will then do our due diligence. We will work with the pastoral search team, the pastors, and we will evaluate him, spend time with him, and get all the input we can and make a decision, yes or no. This is the man. If we say no, we hand it back to the pastoral search subcommittee. Notice of the meeting and its purpose shall be given at least 2 weeks in advance from the pulpit and in the weekly printed bulletin or handout. Any member having reservations about the candidate must submit a signed letter expressing these reservations in writing to the Board of Elders, no later than 1 week prior to the stated congregational meeting to permit review of these concerns. So, when the elders agree, this is the man, we will invite the candidate for at least a week, a candidating week, where he will come, he will preach. We will have as many opportunities for you to get to know him and his family as possible. And if you have any reservations, we want to give you the time to get us the information and concerns into a letter. And there'll be plenty of time for us to take that information and to review it and take it very seriously. A 3/4 vote of members present shall be necessary to extend a call. The vote shall be a written ballot. The congregation shall consider only one candidate at a time. The congregation may not consider a second candidate until the first one has been voted on and rejected. We get a lot of questions on that one. Okay? Keep in mind, you've got to keep in mind, this candidate is going to come and be evaluating us as well. I mean, you may be thinking it's just us, but he's evaluating us and trying to determine what God is saying to him and his family. And when we say yes to him, we vote him, we think we're done. Guess what? He may say no. And we have to hand it back to these guys. I'm looking at them and they're crying. So, please continue to pray for Trinity. Pray for our pastoral search committee and pray for Pastor Next. That when he stands before us at this pulpit, I don't know where this came from. We can say, look what God has done. Okay, pull yourself together. Lastly, the elders are thrilled. We have 11 men who are taking the time to work with us to decide whether or not to join us in July. 11 men. Dave has said during this process, a lot of times churches really struggle to have men when they're in this kind of transition. They're not sure. We have 11 men who are willing to consider, and I want you to be praying deeply for them. That as they go through this process, they know, is this God's calling? And pray for us as elders as we look, if they're all willing, then we've got a lot of decisions to make. What is this elder board going to look like to work with this pastor next as we go forward? So be praying for them, praying for us. Thank you for your patience this morning with all this information. This is our way of commitment to you that we are open and transparent so that we can act well on your behalf. Bill?